He boarded the plane quietly, dressed in a dark hoodie, clean sneakers, and neat jeans. Around his neck hung a sleek pair of headphones, and in his hand, he held a slim black phone. His name was Elijah Carter, 17 years old, calm by nature, raised to never draw attention to himself. He walked down the aisle of the first-class cabin with confidence but not arrogance. He wasn't showing off. He wasn't loud. He just knew this was his seat, a window view, just as he preferred. Elijah placed his bag in the overhead bin, sat down, and pulled out a book. A few passengers glanced at him, then looked away. To them, he was just another teenager traveling alone. Elijah didn't mind being invisible. He was used to it. A few minutes later, the flight attendant entered the cabin. Her name was Brenda Whitman. Late 40s, crisp uniform, hair pulled into a tight bun. She moved down the aisle with sharp steps, pausing briefly to greet other passengers with practiced smiles. But when she saw Elijah Carter, her expression changed. Her steps slowed. Her eyes scanned him from head to toe. No smile this time. She stopped beside his seat and tilted her head. "Excuse me," she said, loud enough for others to hear. "Are you sure you're supposed to be here?" Elijah looked up, confused. "Yes, ma'am." Brenda folded her arms. "Can I see your ticket, please?" He nodded and pulled it from his hoodie pocket. She snatched it without a word. Her eyes narrowed as she read it, then flicked back to his face, then to the ticket, then back to him again. "This is a first-class ticket," she said slowly. "I know," he replied. She paused. "Are you flying with someone?" "No." She blinked hard. "So you're traveling alone in first class?" Elijah said nothing. He knew where this was going. Brenda leaned in slightly, her tone sharper. "I think there's been a mistake. You can't sit here. This seat is for first-class passengers only." Elijah's chest tightened. "I am a first-class passenger." "Listen," Brenda snapped. "You're holding things up. I don't know how you got this ticket, but you need to move to the back now." Elijah stayed seated. His voice was calm. "This is my seat." Her jaw tensed. "Get up." When he didn't move fast enough, she reached for his phone resting on the armrest and, in the process, smacked his hand hard enough to make a loud slap. A few passengers gasped. One woman covered her mouth. A man nearby shifted uncomfortably in his seat, pretending to check his watch, but no one spoke. Elijah stared at Brenda for a second, stunned. Not from pain, but from sheer disbelief. Then he stood. He didn't shout. He didn't argue. He just picked up his backpack, pulled his hood forward, and walked back down the aisle. All eyes followed. He found an empty seat in the very last row of the plane. The economy seat was smaller, tighter, with a broken armrest. He didn't care. He sat down, slid his phone into his lap, and took a deep breath. The soft vibration of a message buzzed against his hand. He unlocked the screen and typed one line. "She slapped my hand and kicked me out. I'm in the back." He hit send. Then he looked out the window. Outside, the runway stretched ahead like nothing had changed. But inside, something had. And Elijah Carter knew this wasn't the end, not even close. Elijah sat still, his eyes fixed on the scratched plastic of the window. The hum of the engines was low, steady, almost soothing, but his chest was tight. Not from fear, but from the kind of quiet anger that doesn't explode. The kind that waits. The message had been sent nearly 2 minutes ago. Still no reply. He wasn't nervous. He knew what would happen once the message was read. Miles away, inside the towering glass headquarters of Carter Enterprises, a phone buzzed atop a heavy mahogany desk. The man behind it, Marcus Carter, broad-shouldered with sharp gray at his temples and wearing a tailored navy suit, picked up the device without hurry. His face remained still as he read the message. His son had been removed from first class. Marcus Carter didn't slam the phone down. He didn't shout. He simply reached for the desk phone and pressed a button, one programmed long ago for immediate response. "Yes, Mr. Carter," came the voice on the other end. "Flight 432, Marcus said evenly. "Seat 2A. There's been an incident. I want eyes on it immediately. Ground them." "Understood, sir." The call ended. Marcus Carter leaned back in his chair, his hands folding together, the weight of his focus like gravity in the room. Back on the plane, Brenda Whitman stood in the galley, pouring herself a cup of coffee, still wearing the smug satisfaction of someone who believed she had done the right thing. She didn't feel guilt. Not yet. The boy hadn't caused a scene. He hadn't fought back. To her, that confirmed she'd been correct. A younger flight attendant, Madison Green, hovered nearby, her name tag pinned perfectly to her navy blouse. Was there really something wrong with his ticket? Madison asked carefully. Brenda rolled her eyes. You saw him. Tell me he looked like he belonged up here. Madison hesitated, her lips pressing into a thin line, but she said nothing more. The overhead intercom crackled suddenly. MS. Whitman, please report to the cockpit. Brenda's hand froze halfway to her lips, the cup of coffee trembling slightly. Madison lifted her brows. That's odd. Probably just a routine check, Brenda replied, setting the cup down. But a knot of unease had already begun to tighten in her stomach. She straightened her skirt, smoothed her jacket, and walked briskly toward the front of the plane. The door to the cockpit was already open. Captain Reeves Hammond stood stiffly near the console, arms crossed tightly, his face unreadable. Next to him, on a small display screen, a video call flickered to life, showing a man Brenda didn't recognize. But the voice hit her like a cold gust of wind. Brenda Whitman, the man said sharply. David Langston, Director of Flight Operations. We've received a report of an incident involving a passenger in seat 2A. Can you confirm? Brenda swallowed hard, her throat suddenly dry. Yes, sir. There was an issue with seating. I handled it. Did you verify the manifest? Langston's voice hardened. Brenda stammered. It didn't look right. I assumed. You assumed? Langston cut in, his tone now icy. Or did you verify? Brenda's lips parted, but no answer came. Captain Hammond narrowed his eyes at her. Do you even know who that passenger is? He's just some kid, she whispered, though the certainty in her voice was already crumbling. No, Langston said, voice sharp as glass. That young man is Elijah Carter, the son of Marcus Carter. You just humiliated the child of the man who holds the largest stake in this airline. Brenda's breath caught in her throat. Per direct order from Mr. Carter, the captain added, this flight is not moving until you address this mistake. Publicly. Personally. Brenda's knees nearly buckled beneath her. Publicly. You will apologize to Mr. Carter. Langston continued. In front of every passenger. You will escort him back to his seat, and then you will wait in the galley for further instruction. The room fell painfully silent. Brenda nodded stiffly, her jaw clenched so tightly it trembled. She turned and stepped out of the cockpit, the weight of 1,000 eyes already pressing on her back.